Prey 2017. Prey 2017 is a really cool game where you're stuck on a space station that's been overrun by aliens. It's like a mix of a scary movie, a puzzle game, and a sci-fi adventure. You play as Morgan Yu, a scientist trying to figure out what happened and how to survive. What makes Prey so absorbing is the space station itself. It's called Talos 1 and it's huge and full of secrets. It's not just a bunch of rooms, it feels like a real place with labs, living quarters, and all sorts of areas to explore. You can climb through vents, find hidden passages, and learn about the people who used to live there. Just wandering around and discovering stuff is a big part of the fun. The aliens, called Typhon, are really interesting. They're not just your typical bad guys. They're all different and have their own weird powers. Some can mimic objects, others can teleport, and some are just big and scary. You have to be smart about how you fight them using your weapons, special abilities, and whatever you can find lying around. It's not just about shooting, it's about figuring out the best way to deal with each type of alien. The game also lets you play how you want. You can sneak around, go in guns blazing, or even use your hacking skills to your advantage. There are lots of different ways to solve problems, and the game encourages you to try different things. You can even craft new items and upgrade your abilities, which gives you even more options. The story in Prey is pretty wild. It's not just about aliens, it's about identity, memories, and what makes us human. Morgan Yu has a complicated past, and you'll uncover the truth about what happened on the space station as you play. There are a lot of twists and turns, and the story will keep you guessing until the very end. The characters you meet are also interesting, and their stories are connected to yours. The Vanishing of Ethan Carter. Man, this game is like, you know when you find a really cool picture book, but it's kinda spooky? Yeah, like that. So, you're this detective guy, Paul, and he can see what happened in places kinda like a ghost movie. He goes to this super pretty place, the trees and houses look so real, it's like you're there, but it's empty and kinda weird. You gotta walk around and find stuff like little clues. It's not like a game where you shoot bad guys or jump on turtles. It's more like you're a detective and you gotta figure out what happened to this kid, Ethan. And it's kinda sad, you know, like the place looks pretty, but it's also spooky, like something bad happened, and you gotta put the pieces together like a puzzle, but the puzzle is a ghost puzzle. It's cool because the game doesn't tell you what to do. It's like, here's the place, figure it out, dude, and when you do figure it out, it's like, well, it's crazy. It's like solving a mystery, but you're in the mystery. Sorry, if I am being weird, but it's sometimes hard to describe games, but yeah, imagine you're walking through a really cool forest, but everyone's gone and you gotta find out why, and you can like see ghosty things and put them together. It's like a ghosty detective adventure, and sometimes the game makes you feel stuff. Maybe you're sad or scared or just like, wow, that's weird. It's not just a game, it's a story, you're living it. If you love exploring and finding secrets and a little bit of spooky stuff, this game is for you. It's like a movie, but you're the star and you're the detective and you're the one who figures out the mystery. It's a walking simulator, but make it spooky and detective-y and pretty. So pretty, you'll forget you're even playing a game. You'll be like, am I a detective now? And then you'll trip over a rock in your living room. Boom, back to reality. The Metro Trilogy. If you ever wanted to experience pure survival in a post-apocalyptic world, these games do it better than almost anything else. Based on Dmitry Glukhovsky's novels, this series throws you into a dark, terrifying, and insanely immersive world where the surface is deadly, monsters lurk in the shadows, and bullets are so rare that they're literally used as currency. Yeah, things are that bad. The story follows Artyom, a guy who grew up in the Moscow metro system after nuclear war wiped out most of humanity. People live in these underground tunnels like rats, trying to survive against not just the horrifying creatures that mutated from radiation, but also other humans, because of course, people are still terrible even after the world ends. Each game, Metro 2033, Last Light, and Exodus, gets bigger, better, and even more immersive. The first two are mostly about sneaking through dark tunnels, listening to every little sound, and praying your flashlight doesn't die while something stalks you from the shadows. The sound design is insane. You'll hear the distant screeches of mutants, the whisper of the wind through crumbling tunnels, and the click, click, click of your Geiger counter reminding you that, yep, you're slowly dying of radiation poisoning. Fun times. Then, Metro Exodus comes along and flips everything upside down. Now you're leaving the metro, exploring the ruined Russian countryside in a semi-open world. But don't get it twisted, it's still a brutal survival experience, just with more freedom. You scavenge for supplies, manually clean your guns to keep them from jamming, and make choices that actually affect the ending. And let's not forget the atmosphere, whether it's trudging through a snowstorm, sneaking past bandits in a desert, or creeping through an abandoned village, this game makes you feel like you're really there. The Metro Trilogy isn't just a shooter, it's a survival simulator that nails the feeling of desperation and isolation. The gas mask mechanic alone is one of the most immersive things ever. When your filter starts running out and your vision gets all foggy and you hear Artyom struggling to breathe, it's straight up panic-inducing. If you love games that pull you into a different world and make you feel like you're actually fighting to survive, Metro is a must-play. Just be ready for some tense moments, low ammo, and the occasional horrifying mutant jumping out of nowhere. Deus Ex Human Revolution. One of the coolest and most immersive cyberpunk games ever made. If you've ever wanted to step into a world where corporations run everything, people are upgrading their bodies with crazy tech, and conspiracies are lurking around every corner, then this is the game for you. You play as Adam Jensen, a guy who starts off as just a regular security dude for a big biotech company, but after a brutal attack leaves him basically dead, he gets forced into a second chance at life, except now he's got mechanical arms, cybernetic vision, and all kinds of insane augmentations that make him feel like a mix of Batman and RoboCop. From that moment on, you're fighting over the future of human evolution, and you're right in the middle of it. What makes Human Revolution so immersive is the freedom it gives you. Every mission can be approached in multiple ways. You want to go in like a silent ninja, hacking security systems and crawling through air vents? Go for it. You want to be a walking tank, blasting enemies with a minigun arm? That works too. Or maybe you'd rather just talk your way through everything like some futuristic detective? Yep, that's an option too.
Take this and get out of here.
And let's not forget the world building. This game nails the cyberpunk vibe. The streets are filled with neon lights, shady back alley deals, and people debating whether cybernetic implants are a miracle or a curse. The music, straight up banger. It makes you feel like you're in a high-tech noir thriller. But what really sells the immersion is the little thing. The way NPCs react to your choices, the emails you can read on office computers, the TV news segments talking about the consequences of your actions. It all makes the world feel alive and real. And of course, there's Adam Jensen himself, who despite all the chaos somehow manages to sound too cool for everything with his deep, gruff voice. I never asked for this. Yeah, we know Adam, but we're glad we got it anyway. If you're looking for a deep, thought-provoking RPG with insane levels of player choice and a world that sucks you in, Deus Ex Human Revolution is a must-play. Days Gone. Days Gone is one of those games that sneaks up on you. At first, it just seems like another zombie game, but the more you play, the more you realize it's way deeper than that. It's not just about fighting off freakers, zombies, it's about surviving in a brutal world, holding on to hope, and watching your character slowly break and rebuild. And because the game is huge and packed with things to do, you'll probably spend over 100 hours without even realizing it. The open world itself is what pulls you in. It's grim, lonely, and strangely beautiful. You'll be riding your motorcycle across forests, mountains, and abandoned towns, and while it looks peaceful at times, you're always one bad decision away from disaster. You'll run into ambushes, traps, or massive freaker hordes, and you'll have to think fast or get absolutely wrecked. The game constantly keeps you on edge, making every ride feel dangerous but exciting. And man, the freaker hordes are no joke. The first time you stumble across one, you'll probably panic and run for your life. These aren't your typical slow zombies. They're fast, aggressive, and absolutely relentless. The game doesn't ease you into them either. You'll be minding your own business and suddenly hear hundreds of freakers screaming in the distance, charging at you like a tidal wave of death. It's terrifying and thrilling, and even when you're powerful, they never stop being a genuine threat. But it's not just about the action. The story and characters actually hit surprisingly hard. You play as Deacon St. John, a drifter and biker who's haunted by the loss of his wife. At first, he comes off as cold and reckless, but as the game goes on, you see his layers. He's loyal, vulnerable, and genuinely broken, which makes his journey really personal. The relationship between Deacon and his best friend Boozer is easily one of the highlights. Their brotherly bond feels real, and watching them struggle with loss, hope, and survival makes the story surprisingly emotional. And let's talk about the crafting crafting and survival mechanics, because that's where the game really shines. You'll scavenge for parts, craft molotovs, traps, and ammo, and constantly repair your bike. And your bike? It's basically a character of its own. You'll upgrade it, paint it, and treat it like your lifeline, because without it, you're screwed. Running out of gas in the middle of nowhere is genuinely terrifying, especially when you're low on ammo and surrounded by freakers. The game's also packed with side content. You'll clear out enemy camps, hunt for collectibles, and take on side missions that sometimes feel just as meaningful as the main quest. There's also a real sense of progression. As you upgrade Deacon's skills and your gear, you'll go from barely surviving to taking on entire hordes like a total badass. Ghost of Tsushima. There aren't many games that make you stop mid-quest just to stare at the scenery, but Ghost of Tsushima does. It's the kind of game where you'll be riding through a forest of golden leaves or across a misty shoreline and suddenly forget you're supposed to be saving your homeland. The world is just that breathtaking. But don't let the pretty flowers fool you. This game will keep you busy for well over 100 hours if you want to see everything. What makes Tsushima so addictive isn't just the gorgeous open world, though it's how alive it feels. You're constantly stumbling onto hidden shrines, freeing villages from Mongol invaders, or following foxes to secret charms. And even though the map is massive, it never feels empty. Every corner has something worth exploring, whether it's a piece of lore, a duel against a wandering swordsman, or a scenic cliff you'll spend way too long admiring. And then there's the combat, which is where the game really gets its hooks into you. It's sharp, stylish, and incredibly satisfying. The duels feel like something straight out of a samurai film, with Jin and his enemies circling each other, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. When you time a perfect parry and cut your opponent down in one clean slash, you'll feel like a legend, and the stance system adds real depth, forcing you to switch fighting styles on the fly based on your enemy. It keeps the combat fresh and tactical, even 50 hours in. But where Tsushima really eats up your time is in its side content. You'll swear you're only gonna do the main story, but before you know it, you're chasing foxes, tracking down haikus, and wiping out every Mongol camp on the island. Then there's the Iki Island expansion, which adds a new region with tougher enemies, more side quests, and a storyline that actually expands Jin's character. The Saboteur 2009. Now this is one of those games that had no business being as cool as it was, but here we are. The Saboteur is an open world game set in Nazi-occupied France. And instead of playing some typical soldier, you're a drunken Irish race car driver turned resistance fighter. Yeah, you heard that right. You play as Sean Devlin, a guy who really hates Nazis and decides to take them down one explosion at a time. The whole game is built around this really slick black and white art style. When the Nazis have control over an area, everything is dark and lifeless, but as you start blowing up their outposts, assassinating officers, and causing absolute chaos, color starts creeping back into the world. It's a simple effect, but damn, it works. It makes every little victory feel like you're actually making a difference. And let's talk about gameplay. This isn't just a GTA-style open world. It's got parkour, stealth, gunfights, and straight-up sabotage missions where you blow up bridges, trains, and entire Nazi bases. You can go in quiet, sneaking around in disguises, or just go full Sean Devlin, guns blazing, leaving behind a trail of wreckage. The driving is really solid too, which makes sense since Sean's a racer at heart, and you get to tear through the streets of Paris in old-school sports cars, dodging Nazi patrols while blasting swing music from the radio.
How did the crowds know we'd be here?
There must be a leak somewhere.
The game also doesn't take itself too seriously. Sean's got that classic Irish charm, constantly cracking jokes and drinking whiskey in between missions, and the world is packed with hidden stashes, sabotage targets, and places to cause trouble, so there's always something to do. Sadly, the Saboteur got overshadowed when it launched, and to make things worse, Pandemic Studios, yeah, the same guys behind Mercenaries and Star Wars Battlefront 2, shut down right after releasing it, so it never got the love or sequel it deserved. But if you're into open world games with a unique setting, great atmosphere, and a protagonist who just does not give a damn, this one is absolutely worth playing. You probably missed it, but now's your chance to fix that. Hitman Trilogy. Man, if you're into stealth, creativity, and making the perfect plan only to see it all go to hell in the best possible way, this is the series for you. This isn't just about sneaking around and taking people out, it's about being a total pro at it. The main guy, Agent 47.A, bald, barcode-headed assassin with a suit, a briefcase, and all the cool gadgets and disguises you could dream of. So in these games, you're basically given a mission to eliminate someone, and the world is your playground. You're not just going in with guns blazing like a maniac, though hey, you can totally do that if you want to. No, the fun is in being creative. You can plan your approach however you want. Maybe you poison someone's drink, set up a crazy accident, or just straight up disguise yourself as a bodyguard and walk right up to your target. It's all about thinking through how you're gonna make that perfect kill. The levels are huge, and every mission is packed with NPCs who have their own routines. The world feels alive, which is awesome because you get to sneak around and watch people learn their patterns and figure out the best way to move. Some of the locations are insane too, like a mansion, a luxury resort, or even a fashion show. You get to take out your target in style. One of the best parts? The replayability. You can beat a mission one way, but then you'll start thinking, what if I did it this way? And so you try a completely different approach. Every time you finish a mission, you get this rush of satisfaction like you've just pulled off the perfect heist without anyone even noticing. But screw up just once and boom! The whole thing falls apart and you'll have to go back to the drawing board. And trust me, you'll screw up plenty. And let's talk about the art of disguising yourself. You can become a waiter, a janitor, a guard, you name it. It's hilarious and you'll find yourself in these absurd situations trying to act cool when you're clearly not, but hey, it's part of the fun. Plus, the AI is smart, so if you get a little too comfy, they'll catch on to you eventually. You can't just walk around acting like you own the place. The trilogy as a whole keeps getting better and better with each game. The third one, Hitman 3, brings everything together, offering even more creative ways to take out targets. The levels are bigger, the challenges are tougher, and the overall story is wrapped up in a way that gives you a sense of completion, though I wouldn't mind seeing more. To sum it up, if you're into stealth, problem solving, and just having a blast coming up with ridiculously fun ways to kill someone, in a totally professional, non-psycho way of course, the Hitman Trilogy is one of the best series to dive into. You're not just playing to finish missions, you're playing to see just how crazy and creative you can get while pulling off the perfect hit. GTA 4. GTA 4, now we're talking. This game is like the gritty, dramatic cousin of the GTA series, the one who shows up at the family reunion wearing a leather jacket and only speaks in deep philosophical monologues. It's not just about the crazy mayhem and stealing cars, it's about the struggle, the broken dreams, and the harsh realities of life. When Grand Theft Auto 4 dropped back in 2008, it wasn't just another GTA game. It took everything we loved about San Andreas and Vice City, but gave it a dark, sobering twist. The game's protagonist, Niko Bellic, was no longer the confident, over-the-top character we were used to. Nah, this guy's got baggage. He's fresh off a plane from Eastern Europe, chasing the American dream, and looking to track down the cousin who promised him riches and a good life. But instead, he gets tangled up in a world of crime, betrayal, and endless backstabbing. It's gritty, real, and you feel Niko's pain.
Makes it okay to stab your friends in the back?
What really set GTA 4 apart was its atmosphere. The world of Liberty City felt alive, gritty, dirty, but alive. The city was a reflection of Niko's internal struggle. You had these towering skyscrapers and neon signs, but it was all built on a foundation of grime and corruption. The streets felt like they had a pulse, and it wasn't a pretty one. It was cold, harsh, and sometimes downright depressing. But damn, was it believable. You could just walk around and feel the tension in the air. The driving, the shooting, the action, all that was great, of course, but what really made GTA 4 hit so hard was its storytelling. It was a game about choices, about consequences, and about trying to find redemption in a world that doesn't give a damn. Niko wasn't your typical I'm gonna take over this city type of protagonist. He wasn't trying to be a kingpin, he was just a guy who wanted a better life. But as we know, the path to hell is paved with good intentions. The Last of Us Oh man, where do I even start? This game is a masterpiece. It's not just a game, it's an emotional journey, a roller coaster that yanks you around with highs and lows, leaving you wrecked by the end. This isn't some mindless shooter where you run around blowing stuff up. Nah, this game punches you in the gut with a story that stays with you long after the credits roll. The main characters, Joel and Ellie, are what make The Last of Us unforgettable. Joel's a grizzled, broken man who's seen the worst of what the post-apocalyptic world has to offer. He's cold, tough, and doesn't trust anyone. Ellie, on the other hand, is this young, tough-as-nails girl who's grown up in a world where survival is all that matters. The bond that forms between them over the course of the game is the heart and soul of the story. It's like you're watching a father-daughter relationship evolve in real time, and by the end you feel like you've been through every damn moment with them. Now, the setting. It's gorgeous and haunting at the same time. You're dropped into a world where humanity's been almost wiped out by a fungal infection, and nature has slowly started to reclaim the earth. Cities are in ruins, animals are back, and plants are creeping through cracked concrete, but it's not just about the world being cool to look at, it's about how everything tells a story. You can walk through an abandoned shopping mall, and just by looking around, you can feel the history of it all. There's so much detail that it pulls you in and makes you forget that you're playing a game. And the gameplay? It's brutal. The combat in The Last of Us is intense, tense, and sometimes downright terrifying. Ammo is scarce, so you have to be smart about how you approach situations. Do you sneak past the enemies, or do you go in guns blazing? Spoiler, you're probably gonna screw up at least once and get caught in a fight you can't win. The clickers, those infected dudes that make that creepy clicking noise, are nightmare fuel, and they'll make you sweat bullets when you're trying to sneak around them. But the game isn't just about killing zombies, it's about surviving, it's about sacrifice, and it's about the weight of your choices. The emotional roller coaster that is The Last of Us never lets up. You'll feel joy, you'll feel pain, and you'll be so attached to these characters by the end that you'll find yourself thinking about them long after you finish the game. Dying Light. It's like if you took parkour, zombies, and a whole lot of adrenaline, threw them into a blender, and turned it up to max. It's an open world zombie apocalypse game, but with a twist. You're not just creeping around looking for supplies. Nah, you're running, jumping, and climbing all over the place like some kind of zombie fighting ninja. First off, the parkour is smooth as butter. You'll be running through the streets, vaulting over fences, sliding under trucks, and just straight up leaping off buildings like you got superpowers. Seriously, it feels so good to parkour in this game. It's not just about surviving the apocalypse. It's about looking freaking awesome while doing it. You'll find yourself climbing up skyscrapers, doing flips off the side, and then boom, down into a zombie-filled street with a sick weapon in hand, ready to take on the horde. The zombies? Well, they're scary as heck. During the day, they're pretty slow and easy to handle. You can sneak around, do your thing, scavenge, and get stuff done. But once the sun sets, oh boy, it's a different story. Nighttime in Dying Light is when the game really kicks it into high gear. The infected become faster, more aggressive, and there are some real freaky ones out there that'll make you wish you had a better flashlight. You can't just casually stroll around at night. You gotta hustle, find safe zones, and pray you make it through the night alive. It's intense, and it adds this real sense of danger and excitement that a lot of other zombie games don't have. The combat is also top-notch. You've got a variety of weapons at your disposal, everything from bats and knives to shotguns and katanas. You can upgrade and modify them to make them even more badass, like adding electric mods or fire effects to turn your weapons into freaking tools of mass destruction. Plus, you can swing those weapons like you're trying to take down the whole freaking zombie army, and the combat feels smooth and satisfying. When you take down a group of zombies, it's like you're in your own action movie, except instead of a cool one-liner, you're just covered in blood and grinning like a maniac. But there's also this sense of freedom in Dying Light. The world is huge and there's always something to do. You're constantly unlocking new areas, finding new people, and encountering side quests that add layers to the story. It's one of those games where you just want to keep exploring because you never know what you're gonna find. Maybe it's a cool weapon stash, maybe it's a horde of zombies, or maybe it's just a random group of survivors who need help. Either way, the world feels alive, even if the majority of it is crawling with the undead. Red Dead Redemption 2. Red Dead Redemption 2 is one of those games that sets the bar so high it's hard to even see the top of the mountain from where other games stand. It's an absolute beast of a game, and every time you think you've seen it all, it pulls you deeper into its world, making you realize that it's not just a game, it's a living, breathing universe. First off, the story. Holy hell, the story. You're Arthur Morgan, a member of the Vanderlyn gang, and right from the start, you're sucked into this gritty, emotional journey that doesn't just tell you a story, it makes you feel it. Arthur's struggle between loyalty to his gang and realizing they're heading down a dangerous road is something you'll feel in your gut. It's one of those stories that sticks with you long after you finish the game. The characters, they're all memorable, each one with their own unique personalities and struggles. You'll love some, hate others, but all of them leave an impression.
By some hill country sheriff stealing a chicken, I think it was.
The world of Red Dead Redemption 2 is just insane. You're not just playing through a bunch of missions, you're living in this massive open world environment that feels real. Like if you stop and look around, you'll see everything from wildlife to weather changes to NPCs going about their daily lives. You can hunt, fish, rob trains, or just get lost in the beauty of the game's wilderness. The attention to detail is next level. You can literally feel the cold when you're out in the snow, or sweat as you ride through the heat of the desert. It's like Rockstar took everything they learned from Grand Theft Auto and turned it up to 11, with the added depth of the Old West. And the gameplay, it's all about the immersion. The shooting feels solid, the horseback riding is smooth, and the way you interact with the world is intuitive but not oversimplified. Every interaction feels weighty, like there are consequences to what you do. You want to play the hero? Go ahead, help out strangers, but be ready to carry the weight of your choices. You want to be a ruthless outlaw? You can go down that path too, but don't be surprised when it all starts catching up to you. Every action, every decision matters, and that's a rare thing in games today.
Now you keep your mouth shut.
Let's not forget about the side activities. Sure, you could stick to the main story, but you'll be doing yourself a huge disservice. There are so many things to do in the game, like hunting legendary animals, playing poker, treasure hunting, or even just sitting around the campfire and listening to stories. It's all part of the experience, and it gives the game an incredible sense of depth. And if the story and world weren't enough, the visuals? Damn. It's one of the best looking games ever made. Whether it's the sun setting over the mountains or the snow drifting over a quiet town, every scene feels like it could be a postcard. The sound design is just as impressive. The soundtrack is subtle but perfect, and the way the world sounds, animals, gunshots, footsteps in the mud, everything is so rich and real.
What matters?
Do as you're goddamn told.
It is us or him.
God of War 2018. God of War 2018 is like a total game changer, seriously. You know how Kratos used to be all about just smashing through gods and causing chaos? Well, in this game, he's got a whole new vibe. He's trying to be a better dad, trying to not destroy everything in his path, and that change is huge. Instead of just being this super angry guy, you get to see him as a dad, trying to teach his son, Atreus, how to survive. And Atreus, he's no slouch either. This isn't some kid who just tags along for the ride. He's actually super useful, and watching him grow up and learn from Kratos is one of the coolest things in the game. The story itself is pretty simple at first. Kratos and Atreus are on this big adventure to scatter Kratos' wife's ashes. But, like every story in games, it doesn't stay simple for long. They end up facing gods, monsters, and all kinds of crazy stuff. What's great about this game is that it's not about saving the world or some big crazy fight. It's about family, trying to do right by the people you love, and finding out who you really are. It feels real, you know? Now, let's talk about the gameplay. It's so smooth, like butter on toast. The combat is super fun, and you've got this awesome axe called the Leviathan Axe. You can throw it and call it back like Thor, and it never gets old. You'll be smashing through enemies left and right, and it feels so good when you land that perfect hit. The boss fights? Dude, they're epic. These fights are huge with awesome music and crazy battles where you're on the edge of your seat the whole time. One of the coolest things in the game is the relationship between Kratos and Atreus. At the start, Kratos is all tough and grumpy, but as you play, you start to see this softer side to him. He's trying to teach Atreus the right way, even though he's not always sure of what that is. Atreus, on the other hand, is trying to figure out who he is and how to be a good son. Their relationship feels super real, and it's one of the best parts of the game. It's not just about fighting, there's real emotion here. The world of God of War is another big reason this game is so awesome. The 9 realms are all totally different, and they each feel like their own world. There's this huge snow-covered area called Niflheim, and then there's this fiery place called Muspelheim. Every place looks amazing, and you'll find yourself just looking around and taking everything in. Plus, there are a ton of secrets to find, so it's not just about getting to the next. So you're always exploring and discovering something new. Final Fantasy 15. This game is like a road trip with your best friends, but, you know, with giant monsters and saving the world thrown in. FF15, it's an action RPG, but it's really focused on the relationships between the characters, and it's got a surprisingly emotional story. You're Prince Noctis, and you're about to get married when, bam, your kingdom gets attacked and your dad gets killed. So, you and your three best buddies, Gladiolus, Ignis, and Prompto, set off on this quest to take back your throne and get revenge. The story is actually pretty good. It's not just some generic save the princess thing. It's about friendship, it's about loss, and it's about growing up. It's a coming-of-age story wrapped up in a fantasy adventure. What makes FF15 special is the bond between the four main characters. Their interactions feel so real. They joke around, they argue, they have each other's backs, they feel like actual friends. Their camaraderie is a big part of what makes the game so enjoyable. You really get to know them, and you start to care about what happens to them. It's not just about the prince, it's about the whole crew and their journey together. The gameplay is a mix of exploration, combat, and tons of side quests. The world is huge and it's gorgeous. Driving around in your car, the regalia, and just exploring is a lot of fun. The fighting is action-oriented and pretty stylish. You can switch between different weapons, use magic, and summon these massive creatures called astrals. It's a fluid and engaging combat system. It's not just about mashing buttons, you have to think about your strategy. And the side quests, they're actually pretty good. They're not just boring fetch quests. A lot of them have their own little stories and characters. They add a lot to the world and give you more time to spend with the main characters. It's a game that's packed with things to do. RoboCop Rogue City. Imagine walking around Detroit as RoboCop. Not just any RoboCop, but the RoboCop with all the cheesy one-liners and the Auto 9 pistol. That's Rogue City. It's a first-person shooter, but it's also a love letter to the original RoboCop movie. You play Alex Murphy, aka RoboCop, and you're tasked with cleaning up the streets of Detroit. The city is overrun with crime, and you're the only one who can stop it. The story is actually pretty good. It's not just a generic action plot. It delves into the themes of the movie, like corporate greed, police corruption, and what it means to be human. It even features some familiar characters from the film. It's a story that feels both familiar and new, expanding on the RoboCop universe in interesting ways. What makes Rogue City so cool is the atmosphere. It really captures the feel of the movie. Detroit is gritty, it's run down, and it's full of criminals. The game looks and sounds just like the movie, from the visuals to the music to the sound effects. It's a truly immersive experience for fans of the film.
Dead or alive, you are coming with me.
The gameplay is a mix of shooting, investigation, and some light RPG elements. The shooting is satisfying. You've got your Auto 9, and you can upgrade it as you progress. You can also use other weapons, but the Auto 9 is the star of the show. And the game isn't just about blasting everything that moves. You can also investigate crime scenes, talk to witnesses, and make choices that affect the story. It's not just about the action, it's about being a cop. And the fan service, it's great. The game is packed with little details that fans of the movie will appreciate, from the cheesy one-liners to the iconic ED-209. It's clear that the developers have a lot of love for the source material. It's a game made by fans, for fans. Hogwarts Legacy. So, have you ever dreamed of just like being at Hogwarts? Wandering the halls, attending classes, learning spells? This game lets you do that. It's an open-world action RPG set in the Harry Potter universe, but it's not just a rehash of the books. It's a whole new story, and it's pretty cool. You're a student at Hogwarts, but it's the late 1800s, so it's a different time, and you've got this special ability you can see and mess with ancient magic. The story revolves around this ancient magic, what it is, and who's trying to use it for their own purposes. You're trying to figure it all out, and of course, you get caught up in all sorts of wizarding drama. It's a story that feels both familiar and new, which is a neat neat trick. The best part, hands down, is Hogwarts itself. It's huge, like really huge, and it's packed with details. You can explore all the different house common rooms, go to classes, learn spells, and just wander around and soak it all in. It really feels like the Hogwarts you've always imagined. And it's not just the castle. The areas around Hogwarts, like Hogsmeade and the Forbidden Forest, are also gorgeous. They've created a truly magical world to explore. Gameplay-wise, it's a mix of a few things. There's combat, it's actually pretty fun. You learn a bunch of spells and you can combine them to do some cool stuff. It's not just about blasting enemies, it's about using your magic creatively. Then there's the exploration. You're always finding hidden areas, little secrets, and completing side quests. And of course, there's the main story, which is actually pretty engaging. It's a nice mix of action, exploration, and narrative. Now, Hogwarts Legacy isn't perfect. Some of the side quests are a little generic, and the combat, while fun, can get a little repetitive after a while. But if you're a Harry Potter fan, even a casual one, you have to play this game. It's the closest you'll ever get to actually going to Hogwarts. It's a truly magical experience, and it's definitely worth playing if you've ever wanted to be a wizard. It really captures the magic of the Harry Potter universe. You can easily lose hours just wandering around, discovering new things, and just enjoying the atmosphere. It's a game that lets you live out your wizarding dreams, and it does it really well. The chorus. So Chorus, imagine a space shooter, right? But it's not just about flying around and blasting everything. It's got this surprisingly interesting story about cults, prophecies, and a pilot trying to escape her past. As Chorus, in a nutshell, it's a space combat game with a really compelling narrative. You play Nora. She used to be a big shot in this cult called the Circle, like their top warrior, but she's had a change of heart and now she's trying to break free from them and make up for what she's done. She's got this sentient spaceship, Forsaken, and they're working together to fight against the cult and figure out the truth behind these ancient prophecies. The story is actually pretty good. It's not just space opera fluff. It deals with some interesting ideas about free will, redemption, and how dangerous it can be when people get too caught up in their beliefs. What makes Chorus stand out is the way it plays. It's not your typical space shooter. You've got these special abilities called rights that Forsaken can use. They let you teleport short distances, dash around really quickly, and even mess with the minds of your enemies. It adds a whole new layer to the combat. It's not just about shooting, it's about using your abilities smartly. You can flank enemies, you can escape tricky situations, and you can even turn enemies against each other. And the world, man, the world is gorgeous. It's a huge open world and it's full of these stunning nebulae, ancient ruins, and weird alien structures. Just flying around and exploring is a lot of fun. It's really visually impressive. They've created a really beautiful and interesting universe to fly around in. The combat itself is fast and fluid. Zipping around in Forsaken, dodging enemy fire, and using your rights feels great. It's challenging, but it's also really rewarding when you pull off a cool maneuver or take down a tough enemy. It's a really satisfying space combat experience. It's the kind of game where you can really get into a flow state, weaving between enemy fire and unleashing devastating attacks. Now, Chorus isn't perfect. The story can get a little confusing at times and some of the missions can feel a bit repetitive, but it's a unique and enjoyable space shooter with a good story and some really cool gameplay. If you like space combat games or you're just looking for something a bit different, I'd recommend giving it a shot. It's a fun and engaging space adventure, and it's definitely worth playing if you're looking for something with a bit more story than your average space shooter. Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. If you played the first game, you already know what you're getting into. No magic, no over-the-top fantasy, just pure medieval chaos. And this sequel, it's bigger, better, and somehow even more immersive. The world feels insanely real. Towns are livelier, forests are thicker, and NPCs don't just stand around waiting for you. They actually exist. They wake up, go to work, eat, drink, and react if you're running around like a lunatic. It's like stepping into an actual medieval world where people have their own problems, and you're just another guy trying to survive. Combat has been fine-tuned, and thank God for that. The first game's fighting was cool but kind of clunky, especially when dealing with multiple enemies. Now things flow better. Swordplay still requires skill, no mindless button mashing here, but attacks feel smoother and fighting 2 or 3 guys at once doesn't feel like instant death anymore.
Now we'll display your corpse on the pillory.
And the story, so Henry's back, and his journey picks up right where the last game left off. The writing feels even more natural, the voice acting is solid, and the quests are so much more dynamic. You can talk your way out of situations, sneak around like a thief, or just be that guy who swings first and asks questions never. And yeah, your choices actually matter. People remember what you do, and it changes how they treat you. Graphically, the game is stunning, the landscapes are ridiculously detailed, the lighting is beautiful, and everything just looks right. Sure, there's some bugs, because of course there are, but nothing that ruins the experience. Bottom line is that Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 is one of the most immersive RPGs you'll ever play. It's not for everyone, it doesn't hold your hand and it demands patience, but if you're into deep, realistic medieval adventures where every decision counts, this game will completely take over your life.
You have to fight till the bitter end.
Road 96. Road 96 is one of those games that just feels different. Like, yeah, it's a road trip game, but not the kind with happy songs and cute diners. This one's about running from a messed up country, trying to escape to freedom, and hoping you don't get caught along the way. Every trip is a gamble, every stop is a new story. You play as different teenagers trying to cross the border of a fictional place called Petria. It's got a corrupt government, protests, people disappearing, the whole place is falling apart, and you're just trying to get out. But here's the twist. Every playthrough is different. Different characters, different choices, different paths. One time you might hitchhike with a weird conspiracy nut. Another time you're helping a bandit rob a gas station. Or maybe you're just walking alone through the desert, hoping someone picks you up before you pass out. The way it's set up is kind of like a road movie, chopped up into pieces. You move through random scenes, gas stations, motels, mountain trails, diners, back roads, and each one gives you a bit more of the world, politics, and the people trying to survive in it. You meet a bunch of recurring characters along the way, and every time you run into them, their story moves forward. Some are funny, some are sad, some are just plain weird, but it all connects. What really makes it work is how personal it feels. You're not playing some hero with powers, you're just a scared kid with a backpack and a dream of crossing the border. You make choices that might save you or screw you. Do you steal gas money? Do you rat someone out to the cops? Do you trust the guy with the shotgun in the backseat? It's all up to you. And those choices affect the world too. Little by little, your actions push the country closer to change, or not.
Say what now? Oh, hi, Jared.
Visually, it's got a cool, artsy style, bright colors, soft edges, kind of like a watercolor painting mixed with low poly 3D. The music is also top tier, chill, moody indie tracks that totally nail that bitter, sweet road trip feeling. Road 96 isn't some giant blockbuster, but it's got soul, it's got heart, and it knows how to make you feel like you're really out there on the road chasing something that maybe feels impossible, but you still gotta try. Definitely one of those hidden gems more folks should play.
And their journeys have only just begun. Each decision could shape your destiny and Petria's too. Time for you to hit the road.
Let's see this.
Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy. When Guardians of the Galaxy first got shown off, everybody and their grandma thought it was going to be another flop like that Avengers game, you know, the one all live service, nonsense, boring grind, ugly character models, just disappointment all around. So yeah, people saw Guardians, saw it was just Star-Lord, and kinda dipped. They thought it was going to be more of that same trash, but nah. This game pulled a full 180 and surprised everybody. It turned out to be the complete opposite of that Avengers mess. No battle pass, no grind, no multiplayer fluff, just a full-on single-player, story-driven, high-quality experience with heart, humor, and actual fun gameplay. It's not even trying to be a knockoff of the MCU versions. The characters here feel like their own thing, different voices, different backstories, but still super likable. Honestly, more likable in some ways. The writing is sharp and they bicker and joke and open up in ways that feel real. You actually care about these weirdos by the end. They're not just comic book props, they're a messed up little family, and it works. And yeah, the gameplay is good. It's not just pew pew laser shooting the whole time. You've got to command your team, break down enemy shields, mix your attacks, and keep moving. It gets hectic but never overwhelming, and when you hit that perfect moment and the 80s music kicks in, dude, it's hype, like full goosebumps. Visually, it looks amazing too. The planets are bright, alien, weird, and full of personality. It doesn't feel like a copy-paste sci-fi world. Every place you go feels fresh and creative, and even the quiet parts, like walking through ship hallways and having small convos, are filled with little touches that show how much care went into it. At the end of the day, this game went from meh expectations to full-on sleeper hit. People thought it was going to be another Avengers disaster, and instead, it turned out to be one of the best Marvel games out there. Straight up proof that good writing, good pacing, and a focused story can still hit hard, even in a world full of bloated live service trash.
Follow me!
The Darkness. The Darkness is one of those forgotten gems from the Xbox 360 and PS3 days that honestly deserves way more love than it gets. If you've never played it or maybe never even heard of it, don't feel bad, a lot of people missed it. But this thing was special, man. Real dark, real moody, and surprisingly emotional. You play as Jackie Estacado, a hitman for the mob, who, on his 21st birthday, finds out he's got this ancient evil power inside him called the Darkness. It's not just a cool name, it's a full-on demonic force that lives in him, talks to him, and lets him do all kinds of crazy stuff. Like you can summon creepy little goblin creatures, rip out people's hearts, shoot tentacles through walls, even create a black hole that sucks enemies in. It's brutal, it's bloody, and it feels awesome. Gameplay mixes guns and powers, you're dual-wielding pistols, while your demon arms are grabbing enemies, snapping necks, pulling off brutal executions. You feel powerful, but the game never lets you forget that this thing inside you, it's not your friend, it wants to use you. Jackie's always kind of on the edge, part hero, part monster. But the Darkness wasn't perfect, some parts are a little dated now, some mechanics are a bit clunky, but the atmosphere, the story, the voice work, and the way it balances violence with emotion, still totally worth it. Mad Max. Mad Max is straight up one of the most slept on open world games out there. Like when it came out in 2015, it got buried under all the hype for Metal Gear Solid 5. Same release day, bad timing, and a lot of people just passed on it. But if you actually sat down and played it, man, this game is actually so fun. So yeah, you're Max. Quiet dude, rough past, trying to survive in this post-apocalyptic wasteland where everything's dust, rust, and chaos. Right at the start, these war boys jack your car, beat you down, and leave you for dead. Classic. But Max don't stay down. He gets up, finds this weird little hunchback mechanic named Chumbucket who calls him the Saint, and together they start building a new beast of a car, the Magnum Opus. That car, it's everything. Your lifeline, your weapon, your ride or die, the whole game is built around it. You upgrade it piece by piece, better armor, spike wheels, nitro boost, a giant harpoon, and then go full Mad Max mode, tearing through enemy camps and convoys. The driving combat is so satisfying, you're ramming fools off the road, yanking drivers out of their cars, blowing stuff up mid-chase, it's pure action movie chaos. On foot, the combat's kinda like Arkham or Shadow of Mordor. Big punches, counter moves, brutal finishers. Max doesn't fight pretty, he fights mean. Headbutts, gut punches, slams, it all feels heavy and nasty, just like it should in a world where people are fighting over scraps. The map is huge, but not in that bloated Ubisoft way. It's all desert, yeah, but every zone feels different. Abandoned airfields, oil camps, dried out seas full of shipwrecks, and weird culty outposts. You're always finding something messed up or creepy, whether it's scarecrow towers to rip down or enemy camps to clear out. And here's the thing, it's got a vibe. Real lonely, real broken. You can feel how empty and hopeless this world is. Max barely talks. The music is slow and moody when you're driving alone. The sky turns blood red during storms and thunder just roars through the silence. It nails that last man on Earth feeling. Mad Max didn't get the love it deserved when it dropped, but trust me, it's absolutely worth playing now. Great atmosphere, tight gameplay, and just a full-on badass ride through the apocalypse. If you ever wanted to feel like you're living in a Mad Max movie, this game delivers. Mafia 2. Mafia 2 drops you right into the rough and tumble world of gangsters back in the mid-20th century. It's more than just shooting and doing missions, it's about getting to know Vito Scaletta, a regular guy who gets mixed up with the Mafia. Think of it like a playable gangster movie, a game with a good story, a cool setting, and fun gameplay that makes it a memorable experience. What's really neat about Mafia 2 is how real it makes the world feel. Empire Bay, the city where the game takes place, is practically a copy of American cities from the 1940s and 50s. It's a lively place with busy streets, music from that time playing on the radio, and different neighborhoods that each have their own feel. Just driving around Empire Bay is a good time, letting you soak up the atmosphere. It's like a living, breathing city. The story they tell is a classic gangster yarn. It's all about loyalty, double-crossing, chasing the American dream, and the dangerous stuff that comes with a life of crime. Vito's story is interesting, and you'll get drawn into what happens to him as he tries to climb the ranks in the Mafia. The characters are well written, and their conversations are one of the best parts of the game. They feel like real people with real problems. Mafia 2 is really good at noticing all the little things that make a world believable. From the vintage cars and clothes to the little bits of conversation you hear on the street, it all adds up to make the game feel authentic. They did a great job of capturing the feeling of that time, and it's like you've actually gone back in time. You can almost smell the cigar smoke and hear the clinking glasses. The gameplay is pretty solid and enjoyable. The gunfights are exciting, the driving is a blast, and the missions are varied and keep you interested. It's a good mix of action and storytelling that keeps you hooked from beginning to end. It's not trying to do anything too fancy, but what it does well. Yakuza Like a Dragon, Ishin. Yakuza Like a Dragon Ishin is a game that takes you way back in time to old Japan, like samurai days. Think of it as a historical action-adventure, but with all the crazy over-the-top stuff the Yakuza games are known for. It's a spin-off, so it's not exactly like the modern Yakuza games. This one's set in the 1860, a time of big changes and samurai running the show. It's like being a samurai during a really interesting and important time in Japanese history. The game sucks you right in, and a lot of that is because of where it's set. Kyoto in the 1860s is brought to life with some awesome detail. You can wander through busy markets, visit peaceful temples, and check out all the different parts of the city. It really feels like you're walking around old Japan. They did a great job making it look and sound like that time, from the buildings to the clothes people wear. It's a cool place to explore, and there's always something new to see. The people you meet are another reason the game's so immersive. You play as Sakamoto Ryoma, a samurai who's out for revenge. He's a well-rounded character, and you'll get to know him pretty well as you play. You'll also run into a bunch of other characters, some of them based on real people from history. They've all got their own reasons for doing what they do, and their conversations are a highlight. The story's got drama, laughs, and some touching moments, and you'll get invested in what happens to these folks. Fighting in Ishin is a blast. It's a mix of sword fighting, shooting guns, and even some bare-knuckle brawling. You can switch between different fighting styles, and each one has its own strengths. Learning the moves and using them the right way is key to winning fights. The battles are quick and exciting, and they're a lot of fun to watch and play. You'll definitely feel like a samurai as you chop and slice your way through enemies. The story in Ishin is really interesting and has a lot of twists and turns. It's about revenge, loyalty, and politics. It's based on Japanese history, but they've added some fictional stuff to make it more dramatic. You'll get pulled into the world of samurai and politics, and you'll be eager to see what happens next. The story is well written and keeps you guessing. Yakuza Like a Dragon Ishin is a good fit for anyone who likes action games, samurai stories, or Japanese history. It's a unique and immersive experience that mixes historical fiction with the crazy action and memorable characters the Yakuza series is famous for. It's like a trip back in time to a really interesting part of Japanese history, and it's a trip you won't forget anytime soon. It's a chance to see a different side of the Yakuza world, and it's a chance to get lost in a world of samurai, secrets, and historical drama. It's a pretty special and unforgettable game. Death Stranding. Death Stranding is a game that's really hard to describe, but it's incredibly immersive. It's not your typical action game where you're constantly shooting things. Instead, it's a game about connecting people and rebuilding a broken world. You play as Sam Porter Bridges, and your job is to deliver packages across a vast and desolate landscape. It sounds kind of boring, but it's actually really engaging and thought-provoking. The world in Death Stranding is absolutely breathtaking. It's inspired by Iceland, and it's full of stunning scenery. You'll be trekking across mountains, deserts, and icy plains, and the game does an amazing job of making you feel like you're actually there. The weather plays a big role too. Rain and snow can make your journey much more difficult, and you'll have to adapt to the changing conditions. It's a world that feels both beautiful and dangerous, and it's a joy to explore. The gameplay in Death Stranding is all about planning and strategy. It's not just about walking from point A to point B, it's about figuring out the best way to get there. You'll have to manage your cargo carefully, making sure it's balanced and secure. You'll also have to contend with the terrain, which can be treacherous. Steep cliffs, rushing rivers, and timefall, a weird rain that makes things age quickly, are just some of the challenges you'll face. It's a game that requires patience and careful planning, but it's incredibly rewarding when you finally reach your destination. The story in Death Stranding is complex and fascinating. It's about a cataclysmic event that has fractured America, and it's about the importance of human connection. The characters are all interesting and have their own motivations. The voice acting is top-notch, and you'll find yourself invested in their stories. It's a narrative that will make you think about the world and your place in it. Death Stranding is a game that's unlike anything else you've probably played. It's a slow-paced and deliberate experience, but it's also incredibly rewarding. It's a game that will challenge you, make you think, and leave you with a lasting impression. It's not for everyone, but if you're looking for a truly unique and immersive gaming experience, Death Stranding is definitely worth checking out. It's a journey into a strange and beautiful world, and it's a journey that you won't soon forget. The Bioshock series. The Bioshock games are amazing at making you feel like you're actually in their worlds. It's not just about shooting bad guys, it's about exploring these incredible places and uncovering their secrets. Each game in the series creates a completely unique and unforgettable experience. First, there's Bioshock. Imagine being dropped into an underwater city called Rapture. It's beautiful, but it's also falling apart. The game does an incredible job of creating a creepy and mysterious atmosphere. You'll find old recordings from people who used to live there, and they tell you the story of what happened to the city. It's like being a detective, piecing together the past while trying to survive in the present. Rapture feels real, even though it's underwater. The Art Deco style, the flickering lights, and the sounds of the ocean all contribute to the immersion. Then there's Bioshock 2, this time you're still in Rapture, but you're playing as a Big Daddy, one of those giant, heavily armored guys. It's a completely different perspective on the city. You're seeing it from the point of view of one of its most iconic inhabitants. The game expands on the story of Rapture, and you learn even more about its history and its downfall. It's a darker and more personal story than the first game, and it adds even more depth to the world. Finally, there's Bioshock Infinite. This game takes you to a completely different location, a floating city in the sky called Columbia. It's bright and beautiful, but there's something sinister lurking beneath the surface. Columbia is a city built on some pretty messed up ideas, and you'll uncover its secrets as you explore. The game has a more epic scope than the previous two, and it deals with some big themes like religion, politics, and free will. The visuals are stunning, and the city feels vast and alive. It's a completely different experience from Rapture, but it's just as immersive. What makes the Bioshock games so immersive is the combination of their incredible settings, their compelling stories, and their unique gameplay. The games aren't just about shooting, they're about exploring, discovering, and experiencing these worlds firsthand. They're games that will stay with you long after you've finished playing them. They're not just games, they're experiences.